So they're using this UFO myth to kind of initiate the public into a new religious paradigm. How would you characterize why they're doing that, for like what it's moving towards?
Well, the with this the new religion that's intimated by this UFO myth is one where humanity is but one more biological appendage of the Kazasuai self-generating universe, and aliens, extraterrestrials, allegedly evolved out of the primordial soups of that universe, and these beings who traverse the expanse separating celestial bodies, which has now been deemed the new eschaton. It's we've seen the transposition of the eschaton into that expanse, into space, qualify as deific beings. And because we are evolutionarily related to them, because we emerged from the very same primordial soups of the very same Kazasuai universe that they inhabit, we must be in the very through the very same evolutionary processes, arriving at apotheosis, at a glorious transfiguration where humanity slays its humanity in a Nietzschean sense, moves beyond its humanity and becomes God.
Wow.
The lie in the garden reiterated, yeah, is what we have here going on. And does Grush realize he's being used in this way? There's some question as to whether he does or doesn't, because he seems to have even contemplated at one point the possibility that the UFO information that he had received from all these different interviews that he was doing with intelligence officials was all lies. I mean, like, he did an interview on News Nation, around the same time that the debrief article came out, and he said, quote unquote, "I thought it was totally nuts. I thought at first I was being deceived. It was a ruse," unquote.
I thought it was totally nuts, and I thought at first I was being deceived. It was a ruse. I remember interviewing these personnel. I'm like, either these people are lying to me, or having a psychotic break, or this is some crazy but true stuff that's happening, and I have no good explanation that's prosaic at all for this.
And somehow, he was able to overcome his doubts and release his so-called revelations. And, so did he actually come to believe the intelligence officials that he had spoken to? Because the intelligence officials obviously never lie, but, being facetious there. Or did he decide to willingly participate in this disinformation campaign and all? That last statement that he made at the very end of the article, where he said that he hoped to impose ontological shock, that seems to suggest to me that he decided to engage with full knowledge in the lie, because he regarded the lie to be a noble lie, to be the noble lie, and that actually, breaking down, the systems of belief that are currently in place in the world was actually something noble, and would, lead to a system of belief that would be actually much more advantageous to humanity. And also, it's possible that he knows exactly what he's doing. And another thing is that whenever he was called upon, I watched large portions of the hearings. Whenever he was called upon, and this goes back to the whole hearsay, the fact that it's all hearsay. Whenever he was called upon to bring evidence forward to support what he was saying, he's like, "I'd like to move to a skiff. I'd like to move to a skiff."
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
Now, what a skiff is that's a, I'm trying to remember the acronym, accurately. It's like a secret compartmentalized information facility. I believe that's what it is. So it's kind of like going into executive session. He wants to move over to kind of an executive session where he, where he divulges this information in confidence with only the congressional participants and lawyers are present and everything. Well, what good does that do the public? And how does the public know that what he's saying is true? Maybe if he if he released it in the public hearings as opposed to in a skiff, then the public would find it to be so flimsy and so weak that this whole thing would fall apart instantaneously.
Francis Crick asked the question, could it be that the extremely complex DNA that we have in us was seeded from outside, was an intelligent entity involved in sort of flooding the earth with the genes that made humans? And I think that this is certainly a logical possibility.
You're watching the History Channel, where the truth is history.